Hey, my name's James Nicholson and welcome to my YouTube channel. Interest rates have been slashed and this time really slashed. It's great news for investors, it's great news for homeowners, and it could potentially start a price war with mortgage lenders, which is exactly what we want as consumers. So we're going to jump into that today. Before we do that, do make sure that you subscribe to the channel and hit the bell notification if you haven't done already. And do make sure you like this video. We're trying to get 100,000 views on YouTube this month. We're already this month in August at 50,000 views. So thank you to everyone that's watched. So help us get there a little bit faster by smashing that like button and helping us with the YouTube algorithm. So what's going on? Well, we had a raise in interest rates last week. And just before that, banks knocked their rates down a little bit. It was like 0.1, 0.2%. And that was just to get them a bit more competitive on the search engines. Because these days, a lot of people, that's how they start their searches. And the broker, when you get offered a deal, will just bring you the cheapest deal. So the bank that has the best rate will often get most of the business. You see, if a bank offers me 5% and the next bank offers me 6%, I'm going with the 5%. I don't have any loyalty to a brand or anything like that. I just want my money at the best price. And so banks have to be competitive. Now, deals are down. That's not any secret, is it? We know that the market is in a slow period at the moment. And I've just been reading some of the RICS report, which is the valuer reports that go around. I'm going to do a video on that shortly. And you'll see that demand is massively down. We've been saying this for months, haven't we? There are less buyers, but also there are less sellers at the moment. And banks make a lot of money in fees. When you get a mortgage, there's fees, thousands of pounds included in that, not just the lending. So they want to lend to as many people as they can. It's a volume game. However, if transactions are down, they've got to do something else. And so what they're looking at is getting more competitive. So while we've had a base rate increase, and we know we've got at least one more to come, maybe two, banks, they're not so fussed about that. They don't borrow from the Bank of England, they borrow on a swap rate, and those are slightly down at the moment. So they're able to get their money a little bit cheaper because the outlook is that interest rates over time are going to come down. No one knows for sure how far or when, but there's a high probability at some point, definitely in the next 5 years, interest rates are likely to come down once we've beaten this inflation. So who's doing what? Well, it's interesting. I've got it here on my little magic post-it note. So let's see what we've got going on here. So Nationwide, one of the bigger lenders. Nationwide. They are dropping over 0.5%, which is a big drop. You think that's 2 Bank of England raises that we've had. Normally the Bank of England, although we've had 14 consecutive increases, they're doing mostly 0.25%. And so this is 0.5% down. That makes a big difference. And who that will make a massive difference to is buy-to-let landlords, which is primarily what this channel is for. So buy-to-let landlords will ultimately really benefit from that because we pay interest only. And so that could mean for some people's payments, hundreds of pounds in discount, depending on how big the mortgage is, right? So HSBC, I bank with HSBC. I've never had a mortgage with them. They never really come up as that competitive. Have you guys got a mortgage with them? Anyone watching? 0.35%. So they're not knocking off too much there, but it's better than nothing, right? And it's more, they're knocking off more. Remember, they already did. They're the ones that got the headline just before the Bank of England did their meeting. So they already knocked off a little bit and they're knocking off some more on top of that. So this is good, right? So that means that it's still more than 0.25%, which is what they went up. This is positive. And I think really banks and lenders that they borrow from feel that we're getting close to being at the peak of the interest rate rises now. TSB, what are they doing? They're knocking off 0.4%, which is not too shabby, nearly 0.5% there as well. So this is going to make a big difference to people that are remortgaging, refinancing. Now, some of these deals, you've got to have a decent amount of deposit. but that works for refinancing. So those on a refinance could benefit from this greatly, because I saw somebody saying first time buyers, they're not getting such a good deal. You're correct. But there are tons of people that need to refinance at the moment, so this will benefit them. Halifax, they've gone big guns on this one. So Halifax has done a big drop here, which might mean that these guys follow suit. So Halifax has knocked off 0.71%. Wow, that's great. That's nearly 3 Bank of England base rate hikes they've knocked off in one day, which really is going to make a big difference for a ton of people. So that takes the Halifax rate. So they were at 6.10%, and that knocks them down to 5.39% on their best deal, which is good. Like, that's a big difference, guys, particularly, as I said, buy-to-let interest-only mortgages. Massive, massive difference there. So really positive from Halifax there. Now, what else is going on? Well, they're talking about inflation data at the moment. So next week, we're going to be talking about the inflation data. We're currently at 7.9%. And the expectation is that we're going to drop to 6.8%. That would be great. But it's been wrong a few times, hasn't it, recently? We've had inflation data that was expected to go down, and then we had a flat month. We had one time where it went up. Last month, it dropped more than expected. Maybe that happened again. That would be wonderful news if it does. So all of these things, if we see a bigger drop, in inflation, these guys might get even more competitive based off the fact that they might feel that we might not have any interest rate rises. Imagine if the inflation went to 5% next week. That would be crazy. Not likely. Possible, yes. No one knows for sure. Well, the guys compiling the figures probably already know, but we don't know for sure what we're going to get, do we? But this is really positive news, in my opinion. We need something good at the moment. We've had house prices going down. We've had interest rates going up and up and up, which is more of a concern for me. In my opinion, I think that's going to hit people way harder than house prices going down, because they could just sit in the house if they needed to. But it's when they come out of a deal and they go on to a much higher rate that people are really going to be in for a shock. So I think all in all, this is a positive thing. The prediction is that all of the other banks will start competing as well. Because look, if Halifax are at 5.39, if you're just a lender and you're just going for the same market as Halifax, you're not really going to be able to charge 6.5%, because no one's going to borrow from you. If they can borrow from Halifax at 5.39 and you're at 6.5%, you're not going to get much business. And so that means that they're going to be forced to compete. That's really good for us. We want competition, and that really will help drive the rates down, get us more opportunity, save you guys money as well. But what do you think about this? Do you think this is just a token gesture? Do you think this is better than last time? Because we've talked about interest rate drops before. Do you think this is going to go down even more, even if the base rate increases? Are the banks going to be fighting more for our business? Do let me know in the comments what you think. Do smash the like button, guys. As I said, that really helps us. We're halfway to our total of 100,000 views, and we're only a third of the way through the month. But who knows what will happen? So please do make sure you get involved in all the videos. Check out all the other content on the channel. Help us get to 100,000 views by watching this video right here.